Hey, everybody.
Good
Welcome to
morning.
Copilot and Coffee. Again, episode 2. We're going to let a few people come in because we are right on the hour. And yeah, and then we'll jump right into today's topics. Yeah, we got a good crowd here. Lots of folks hopping on. While we're waiting, Matt, what are you drinking this week, month, day?
This one's a little earlier in the day since last time, so I still have a little bit of Diet Mountain Dew left.
Diet Mountain Dew.
Hmm.
Wow. Drink of champions. Caleb, you going with coconuts again?
No, I have a little Halloween themed mug for the day. But I
Oh,
just got a new espresso machine yesterday, so I'm testing it out.
very exciting. That's awesome. I'm just going with your basic Keurig pod, but it is Tim Hortons, so sticking with my Canadian theme. All right, so we got enough folks on here to entertain them, I think. Welcome again, everybody, to Boyer's Co-Pilot and Coffee. This is episode 2, which is super exciting. We had a ton of people show up the last time, and what's even better is that almost everybody filled out the post Co-Pilot and Coffee survey to give us feedback on how episode 1 went. So if you were around with us for the first time, first episode, we love that you came back, but also we're going to change it up, right? We're going to have some new things just based on the feedback from previous attendees. People wanted to engage with us, which means, we have allowed everybody the opportunity to unmute themselves and chat and ask sort of questions along the way. Now, before we just open this up to a crazy forum, we're going to prompt for when we kind of want people to chime in because we do have a bunch of topics. Again, people gave us a lot of feedback on the types of topics they would like us to um, speak about in these co-piloting coffee episodes. So, like I said, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't, I'm not going to give you a big long intro about who Boyer is. I'm assuming that everybody's here knows a little bit about who Boyer is and cares enough to show up to hear what we have to say about AI. But these sessions really are candid. We keep the conversation open. We do spend a lot of time prepping for a candid conversation, but that's just so that we're coming in informed and really just trying to share insights, actual insights. And we really enjoy prepping for these sessions. So, thank you again for joining. I'm going to jump right into it, but again, no buzzwords, or we try and limit the buzzwords. So if anybody starts getting too tech jargony, they're going to lose points. I'm here kind of to act as facilitator, and with me today, I have Matt and Caleb. These are two of Boyer's AI gurus. If you want to say a little bit about yourself, Matt and Caleb,
Go
say
ahead,
hi.
Caleb.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Caleb Funderburk. I'm the AI and product development lead here at Boyer& Associates. So everything Copilot, everything AI. But the one thing I like to call out, I'm a former ERP Business Central consultant. So I've been able to kind of walk through a lot of the pain points with our customers before, and that's really what I'm trying to drive our AI solutions around. So business processes that you guys are very familiar with, let's go start bringing AI to it. So makes your lives a little bit easier.
Sweet.
And I'm Matt Fleming, the Vice President of Technology here at Boyer and Associates. AI internally kind of rolls up through me. So I'm kind of responsible for figuring out how we're going to optimize our experience for our customers and streamline, processes for our employees here at Boyer.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that sounded super candid, Matt. It sounds like you've said that a few times before. Just
That
kidding.
one, that was candid, actually.
That was candid. Nice. All right. Well, and another thing about Copilot and Coffee is we try not to do demos and slides, but we're gonna, we might shake things up a little bit today. The first area of discussion we're going to go into, and actually, what I'll tell you is we don't have a formal agenda, but we do pick certain topics that we want to hit on. So for the first portion of today, Matt, Caleb, and I are going to discuss some of those hot AI headlines that we keep seeing and hearing, kind of give our point of view on those. Just sort of the general consensus worldwide around AI. This is not a product pitch. This is just to kind of look at what we're hearing and how it's actually applying in the real world with the clients that we work with that are evaluating AI solutions or, where we have projects and we're implementing AI and things like that. then we're going to probably get into a AI comparison, right? On the business tools, the different AI options out there and the differences between those. Again, open discussion. We're going to open it up after each kind of topic that once we get all our chatting done, we want you guys to come off mute or put comments in the chat and things like that. Then we'll just talk about what we are most excited about with AI and what's coming and some fun announcements that we can share just based on what we're hearing. So with that, let's talk about headlines. I think we can all agree that not a day goes by that we're not hearing or seeing or reading or watching some AI headline, and it's either going to be, AI is the best. We love it. Your competitors love it. If you don't use it today, you're a fool. You're going to lose money and, adopt and implement and buy AI. Then there is the other end of that extreme, which is AI is terrifying. It's going to take over the world. Don't use it. Robots are coming to get you. And then there's also, we used it, our businesses are investing billions of dollars into it, and it's not all it's chalked up to be. So there was an MIT study, and actually we'll put some links in the chat to some of these articles that we're seeing just to see if you guys have seen them too. If not, share links to articles that you're seeing as well. But, Matt, Caleb, what do you guys think about the whole AI isn't worth it one? That's the one that always kind of irks me the most. Matt, what do you think about that? Don't
Yes. So what I would say on that one, that MIT study was interesting. Read a counterpoint survey type situation where someone did more of an in-depth analysis on the MIT study. One of the things in that MIT study that said 95% of projects fail, the authors of the study just assumed that if people were publishing things out, but they weren't publishing any like cost or profit analysis or ROI type stuff on it, that the project was a failure. So I thought that was kind of an interesting point there. The big thing here, I think, to really realize and key on, don't spend a bunch of money up front with it. Kind of start small, land and expand. Pick a spot or two spots maybe in your process where things are a little disjointed or there's a little bit of friction between departments or that kind of thing. And that's kind of where we're kind of looking at like how can we use AI to kind of streamline that? Maybe we need information from 3, 4, 5 different people when we're kicking a project off here at Boyer or something like that. How can AI kind of help to coordinate and facilitate that process? I think that's kind of where I'll end for now on that.
Well, 95% of AI initiatives failing was pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's those other articles. I think it was you that pointed out that other one. I was like, look what this guy said. He's like, no, MIT, you're wrong. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
MIT, you're wrong. What do you think, Caleb? 95% or 95% of your projects failing and everybody that you're working with? How's that going?
I don't think so. So especially with these like big news lines articles, I feel like they're really highlighting like the huge enterprise companies, the ones that are really spending the money to build out the infrastructure. So I think that's a huge component of it. It's like not everyone is going to go buy 1 million NVIDIA or AMD GPUs and start building out data centers. So like let Microsoft, let all those big companies do the investing into it. And then for more of the businesses that we're working with, start smaller. Where you're going to see that success is with a smaller initiative. So maybe start with one department, maybe one role, pilot it, prove that it works, and then scale. Don't go spend a bunch of money up front. Let's start small and kind of get quick ones out the way. A very common theme that I start to see is that people are immediately trying to jump into something that's using like predictive technology, forecasting technology, fine-tune models, solutions that are very well possible, especially within Azure AI Foundry. But kind of the side note to that is it's potentially costly. It's a little bit unpredictable of how much you will spend on a basis, especially as you scale. So usually for customers that are looking to just dip their toes into AI and get started, we recommend starting with something like M365 Copilot, where you're kind of boxed into that $30 license, or you can start building agents within a low-code platform very similar to Power Platform like Copilot Studio. So overall, like I guess my advice is just start small, government early, and try to find like some of those few small wins that you can get quick and easy.
It's so easy too if you're already on the Microsoft stack. And I mean,
Mhm.
I'm gonna just assume that a lot of people on our call today hanging out with us probably have some form of Microsoft stack implemented, just because otherwise, why would they be, interested? Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're interested and want to learn more about it. Again, that's why we're here. I always think back to when we kind of first started with AI internally at Boyer. Matt, obviously you were spearheading that. Caleb, I won't make any age jokes here. So, but yeah, this is a few years ago, and we had our AI kind of internal center of excellence, and it was across the entire Boyer organization, and we gamified it, right? Like we said, hey, what are your use cases for AI, or how did you use AI? And there was a contest, and you know what? I will use any opportunity to mention to the world that I was the very first, patting myself on the back, winner of the Amazon gift card just for coming up with AI, how I used AI to improve my day. And so when Caleb and Matt, when you guys say start small, I think we did that pretty well, especially considering I'm not technical, right? I'm not one of our technical consultants that's
Mhm.
embedded in the technology. I'm in marketing, right? Like, how can I use AI to improve my day or productivity, right? How much time can I save? And in the marketing world, they say 92% of AI is really being used by marketers and people in roles like mine. But like, yeah, give the tools to or suggest, like, walk your end users through something that might be very simple to a more savvy AI user today, and go find someone in operations, find out a small manual process they have and show them how. You don't have to be an AI guru like Caleb or Matt, right? Like, go tell somebody, hey, this is how you can use a prompt to save yourself a manual process, and you will start building out the champions. You'll start building out adoption just naturally with the stuff that's already built in. That's my tip on internal adoption and things like that. And Matt, you've said something in the past that I really like. All these business leaders that are trying to decide how much they want to invest in AI and technology, they're kind of hesitant. It's not all about, getting that immediate financial ROI and results.
Mhm.
That's something you speak really well to. What do you mean by that? Like, don't focus on the
Yeah.
financial part.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually read an article a few weeks ago. Jared Spataro, who's one of the leaders at Microsoft in this space, kind of was on a panel and kind of reiterated the same thing where Microsoft sees the struggle. I think we see it on a day to day of being able to tie, okay, we're going to build this agent that's going to make someone's job better
Mhm.
directly to that ROI on the back end. But yeah, I think it's about more than just the dollars and cents of everything. When you take a look and step back and say, okay, if we can build this agent to do, this specific point in a business process or to manage and optimize a full business process, that's taking and freeing up time for a resource that's on our team that can then go and focus on a more high level task that's, much more value add. So it's not super clear. It's one of those things that we're constantly thinking about. How can we help the show ROI? But I think that, as you drive efficiencies and quality into the business, it's got other effects that aren't just kind of, oh, we can see this immediately on the bottom line. So
Yeah,
can I help
Yeah.
to
I like
answer
it.
that?
And one thing I want to kind of call out there too, kind of building on both of your guys' points, where it doesn't necessarily have to be an agent. Like you can start with just like the productivity
Mhm.
M365 Copilot. Um, I'm now under Matt's team, but before, like I was working under our delivery team. I was helping out Addie with marketing. I'm helping out Matt on the IT and AI side. I'm helping out
Mhm.
sales. So by leveraging M365 Copilot, we didn't have any custom agents built at the time. I was able to help a variety of different departments, help me kind of shift gears faster throughout my day.
Yep.
And that's just all using a baseline product.
Speaking of
Absolutely.
baseline products, there's a pretty good question in the chat from our friend Jeff Miller. Hi, Jeff. It's good to see you here. He wants to know what's the benefit between the free version of Copilot and the paid version. And I think kind of what you were saying, Caleb, is, you have these baseline tools. A lot of AI is just getting built in and included in the products that we have today. We're about to go kind of into that AI comparison of the different solutions, but let's talk. Hey, if we get an opportunity to talk about Copilot,
Yeah.
do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can speak to it. So, the free versus the paid version of M365 Copilot, that free version is going to be very limited. It's not going to have like a window into kind of your day-to-day work processes. It's not going to have any visibility into your documents, your emails, your messages. And it's not going to be boxed in within that secure Microsoft ecosystem because it's not tied to a paid license. Whereas if you're using that paid $30 license, you're grounded within your work environment. So Copilot's able, in a secure and safe way, able to navigate across your SharePoint, your OneDrive, your Outlook email, your Teams messages, and any agent that you build inside of it. So you open up a lot of doors by moving to that $30 license, and kind of that where I was saying I'm using kind of the baseline productivity tools. That's what I'm talking about. I'm using that that premium license. But then it opens the doors where you can start building agents. You can start tying things into all of your productivity apps. There's a whole lot that we could go into there.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to highlight the productivity aspect. Like the Office Suite's there, it's been there for years, and Copilot's there. You need the Copilot license to be able to go into a Word document, have it summarize stuff for you, or start a Word document based off another document that's, in your SharePoint site or in your OneDrive. Maybe you have an Excel file that you want to, build a report off of, something like that. We're going to need to have the Copilot licensing for that as well. So, again, those are just kind of efficiency improvements. Maybe hard to tie, thinking back to the ROI, hard to tie ROI to it, but great starting point. I know that since we've had the Copilot licensing since it became available, and I don't think I've ever sat down, opened up a Word document, and typed the whole, here's everything I do. Now it's prompt the agent. This is the documents that I need you to use. This is what I'm looking for here. Get that initial draft, and then go through, review the draft, and make the tweaks that I need, make it my own, so that I'm not, I think that's actually another important piece. One of those things, talking about articles and what's in the news nowadays, we're starting to hear a lot about AI slop. And so that's the other thing that I would recommend is, this is not the final draft, right? This is an intern that's doing the legwork for you up front, but we need to go through that stuff and make sure that we're not doing AI slop. Correct things that are wrong, edit things to make them, come more from your own viewpoint, rather than just taking whatever AI gives us that first shot and passing that along to someone else. Because that has, that can have some really significant negative impacts of, if I ask Caleb to do something for me and he drops in and just spits out whatever AI says, takes that and gives it to me. Well, now, yeah, I could have done that myself. I've got to now go back through, check on the data that he was using for this, that kind of thing. I'm not in a place of trust anymore, where I think that's super important. Of, don't do the AI slop thing. Look at it, use it. Yeah, it's bad news.
Yeah.
So
And
I won't give you
Matt
a
being
low
my
score
direct
for
manager,
buzzwords.
I promise not to bring any AI slop to you. But the one thing I do want to call out with that, we're currently taking one of our clients through like an M365 Copilot training opportunity, where we're kind of showing them the ropes of how to kind of start using Copilot. And one of the cool features that I ran into is that you can actually tailor your Copilot emails so you can make it sound a little bit more like you, so you're not getting as much AI slop, if that makes sense. Like when you're drafting emails, you can kind of put parameters around it. So it's like, hey, make this sound more like me. You can start throwing in example emails, kind of how you want to start an email, how you want to end an email. So that first initial draft you're getting out of Copilot is more aligned to something a little bit more personalized to you.
Mhm.
And you really can shape your co-pilots, and what most AI tools use with the instructions. I remember when I first learned that with Chat GPT, and again, we can kind of get into that comparison now, where, these different AI tools, you can build them to work better with you. And I always joke that Chat GPT is my weird friend that I, ask obscure questions of, so I actually had AI generate these photos, by the way. I did not create them, but I thought they were kind of hilarious and I wanted to share them with you all. These are the top AI business solutions out there today. There could have been more. We were looking through some visuals of, the amount of AI options available to users. I mean, there is not a way to get all of those logos on one slide. So we picked for ChatGPT again. It's not that it's not usable for business. To me, it's just a little bit of that Wild West. And so I stick to using it primarily for a little bit of peer review, but also, to ask my weird questions. I don't like to work with ChatGPT, but I like to hang out with ChatGPT. But then we have Copilot, Gemini, Claude, right? And I did ask AI in a couple different ways. I use Canva AI in the marketing world for design, and then I also use Copilot, right, and generate the human form of these different AI platforms. And this is what came out. And I just thought it was great. Had to share it for Copilot and Coffee. Claude being this sort of wise old philosopher, Gemini kind of being your Google hacker kid, and Copilot being your overachieving office coworker that gets everything right, shows up at 5 a.m, probably worked out before too. She looks very fit. But ChatGPT actually, I asked ChatGPT, and that was the picture that she's a woman. Apparently ChatGPT is a woman. Just learned that. So very interesting. And this is not how we compare AI. We are going to get into it a little further. Not just with photos that I think are hilarious. But before we jump right into this, does anyone, interactive, right? What are you using today? Are you using Copilot? Are you using Claude? Are you using Gemini? Are you using ChatGPT? Are you using them that I don't have listed here that you are like, this has been a game changer for me? You are all welcome to come off mute, put anything in the chat, share whatever you want. Interrupt me if I get rambly, but this is at the highest of levels, kind of a comparison based on the research we do into these top platforms, because these are the ones, when customers or clients or whomever, they come to us and they say, understand you're a Microsoft shop, right? Understand you're always going to be talking about Copilot, using Copilot, but what about these other ones? What's the difference? And so this I put together based on my research, and this is really the best way to look at it. Copilot is going to be your personalized assistant for work and web, and it's got that tight alignment to the existing Microsoft solutions used today. And then cost-wise, that's another big one. People always want to know how much these things cost. Claude, I mean, I know Caleb, Matt, you can probably speak a little bit to Claude. Now, mind you, for the record, everybody, we are not experts in Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, Copilot, sure. The other ones, we're trying to figure them out a little bit. So it looks like Vicky uses Copilot, has gotten several managers that aren't really tech savvy using to help them with emails and evaluate. Been a game changer. I love hearing game changer.
Awesome.
We're clapping for you. Hey, Vicky, that's awesome. Yeah, Copilot's been a game changer for me. Matt, you mentioned you don't go into a Word document anymore without using Copilot.
Using it, right?
Yep.
And I actually use ChatGPT on the work side of things every day
on the
from
weekends.
a technical point of view.
Just kidding.
So, it's Addie's work or party friend, whatever, on the weekends. But I use it a lot because it's really smart with like SQL queries and all kinds of nerdy code stuff, which is great for me because I'm a pretty technical person, but I'm not like classically trained as a developer by any means. So it gets me to a spot where I don't have to know and understand and remember all of the different formulas. Let's say in a Power BI report, I can tell it what I'm looking for. I've got kind of that understanding what the data looks like and what, the intuition to go down that path of like, this is what I want. And then I can have it just kind of write down those formulas and then take them and tweak them. So I use ChatGPT a ton for SQL, Power BI measures, some JavaScript and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Well, Caleb, have you ever used Claude or Gemini?
Yeah, so I play around with Claude. I play around with Gemini. I use ChatGPT a decent bit. But how I kind of look at it is like they're almost like different employees or coworkers you have. So it's like Copilot's going to be your daily driver. You're going to know that you can provide kind of all your sensitive work information there, and it's not going to leave any place. But like Matt said, like if we're working on SQL queries, we're trying to play around with a development language that maybe Matt and I aren't too familiar with, we can start pulling in, say, ChatGPT or Claude, Gemini, GitHub Copilot. Like we can start pulling on other tools besides just Copilot. But we know at the end of the day, Copilot's going to be the safe spot that we can start passing in more sensitive information, which I think is a big call out. But ultimately, all of these are just kind of the front end for LLMs. So that's like a big call out too. We can always build.
Caleb, buzzword or tech jargon, what is LLM stand for?
Like a large language model. So being able to, so like Claude has like Opus 4.1, ChatGPT has like the what is it, GPT-4, GPT-5, Gemini has their own. So ultimately, these are just like the front end for it. If you ever want to build if you know that, like, say, maybe the Claude works better for certain things or Gemini works better for certain things, we can still build custom agents in Azure using those. It's just that baseline product won't have it included. But we also will kind of hit on the Claude piece and Copilot a little bit later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I did a lot of research into these different solutions. In marketing, we have to, right? Like, I need to understand, as we're talking about Copilot, what makes Copilot better than Claude and things like that. So, I'm sharing kind of my notes, really. I mean, this is not a pretty marketing slide by any means, but this is the sort of stuff that I use to just sort of understand the differences between the two. And like I said, just because Claude's this ancient old philosopher type. When I was doing some research in Claude, you mentioned Opus 4.1 or something like that. Like I was really trying to understand pricing differences between all these different solutions. And the interesting thing I found about Claude and a difference between it and Copilot is it is usage-based, a lot of the pricing, right? The license costs, like if I go back to this slide, and I know we hate using slides around here, but we're using them today just because it's easier, especially when we talk about pricing. License costs about the same for each. But with enterprise, when you get to Claude for Business, right, like there's custom pricing, and I was looking at it, and since it's usage-based, for that Opus one, the one where you're talking about like getting really good code for developers, you might get charged $75 a message. Like, so it's an output and an input message based on the usage. For certain things, it's $75. Now, other messages might only be 30 cents, but I just found that like crazy. I hear a little feedback. This is the risk of letting people mute because I think there might be someone having a party. So I might have to mute somebody.
It's probably me. I've got kids home from school today, so
you have
sorry.
A party at your house? Trying to have Copilot and coffee together. Anyways, I mean, Claude, I tried it. I remember at one point, early days, just to test it. I thought it was very intuitive, great, good little UI, things like that. I know you said, Caleb, is it being included? See, a lot of these AIs, they tie together, right? Like OpenAI and Claude, like they all kind of hang out together. They party at Matt's house. It's probably Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT in the background. But what is the tie-in with Claude and Copilot? Do you know?
Yeah, so I would say on the Azure side, we can pull in almost any LLM. But the big update with Microsoft M365 Copilot is that they recently released that they now support Anthropic's Claude models, specifically Sonnet Forward and Claude Opus 4.1. So now they're both available within Microsoft M365 Copilot and Copilot Studio. So whether you're just using the baseline productivity or you're starting to use the low-code platform to build out some agents, you can now pull in both models. This is really great just because up until now, Copilot has just ran on those OpenAI models. But Claude can kind of bring a different mix to the party, if that makes sense, like a different style of reasoning. It's more like precise, especially when you're dealing with like more long context like contracts, research, or like technical documents. So one thing I like to call is like, this doesn't necessarily mean Claude is better. It's just different. And that's how I would try to look at this, is like each LLM, each tool is going to be different. You're going to call on certain ones for certain tasks. But now it really, by Microsoft bringing it to Copilot, it's pushing Copilot to becoming like more of a true AI platform, not just the Copilot platform. It's pretty much like your interface for everything AI.
Got it. You know a lot, Caleb, about this stuff. When I was researching Gemini, that's the other one, right? And that's Google, Microsoft, right? Like that. Google, we do not speak of. I'm just kidding. I use Google all the time still. Obviously, we all do. to correct me if I'm wrong, right? We've got a research and planning assistant. If we look back at the fun little visual of human form of Gemini, we've got that sort of Mark Zuckerberg looking fellow with the hooded sweatshirt and the jeans. And, you know, you know, they kind of position it as great for the, well, they make it look like it's good for hackers and things like that, which makes me nervous. I'm sure it isn't, but I would say similar to Copilot, how if you're working in a Microsoft suite already, Copilot really is probably going to be your best bet because it has such a tight alignment. Whereas if you're using the G Suite, you're using Google Workspace and everything like that, one might say use Gemini. However, Caleb, you can integrate Copilot into the G Suite, right? You can use Copilot with Google.
Yep, we are able to connect using kind of these Copilot connectors to go and hook up to anything on the G Suite, whether that's Workspace, Gmail, any other business application. So it doesn't necessarily just need to be a Microsoft business app. Copilot can integrate with a wide variety of applications. So just because you're just on G Suite and you're not typically using Microsoft's ecosystem, that doesn't mean you can't start using Copilot today.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot, or Matt, whoever can answer this. This is just a question that just came up off the top of my head. But so we can integrate Copilot into, like, if an organization is using the G Suite, can Gemini integrate into the Microsoft platform? Do we know that? That's something we might need to find out for the next one. I'm just curious, you know, like, you know, they all kind of hang out together a little bit. It's like high school cliques. We're not going to spend too much time on ChatGPT, but again, I'll want to ask the audience, I saw Jeff mention a couple other AI platforms that are geared in more directions. Like, you know, is anybody using sort of an industry specific AI solution today? Or like I said, I use Canva AI, which has been quite a journey to use that one. If I ever want to generate a fake image, I had to somehow get a coworker on a bull for a trading card we're creating. You know, you can do some very interesting things with the graphic design side of AI and image generator. It's not perfect. But you know, you can do some, but is anybody using industry specific solutions?
And I think I saw Jeff's message. I can't pull up the chat right now, so sorry.
Okay,
I can't,
it says
go back to it.
Lovable. Is it Lovable?
So Lovable's LLM is available within Azure. So Jeff, if you have any specific use cases where you maybe want to build an agent around Lovable, it's something we can definitely do. The one thing I will call out is going into the Azure side, it's not as low code friendly. It's going to be more on that pro code side. So just one thing to call out there.
Good to know. There's the Lovable link. Fun.
And then I do have a breakdown that I can send in the chat for everyone after the fact or in our follow-up, where it just kind of breaks down the different models within Copilot. So like GPT-4, GPT-5, and both of the Claude models. So you guys can really see, like, where should I start using one? GPT-4 is going to be more of your like daily driver. GPT-5 is going to be your dual mode reasoning. And then the Claude ones are going to be something for like bigger context, like contracts and stuff like that. But I'll send out the detailed information after the fact. I don't need to bore you guys with that.
Cool. Caleb's coming prepared with the knowledge. Yeah, we can share a lot of these links and resources if anything interests you. You know, there's so much to say about the different platforms that are out there. Yeah, and the ones we use are great. Like Copilot, I can't imagine not using Copilot or some form of AI, whatever it is. Like if Matt, you were to say one day, hey, security, too much of a risk to use AI in the workforce today, we need to turn it off, I would probably struggle. Things would slow down quite a bit. It's just to get, and I think back to where we were 5 years ago without it, right? Or you know, but and I hear this comparison made a lot because it does, I think it is causing businesses to feel like the AI initiative is daunting, right? It's moving very fast, it's evolving, and you know, they don't know where to start. And so kind of to go back to what we initially were talking about, starting small is so important with it, right? You have to start small, but then evolve with it. Like just keep moving, don't lose momentum. There was something that I was going to share, and it's already gone out of my head. So we'll keep moving though.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to call out there, like where we started small, where we made sure that all our employees had Copilot. It's one of the things I love about Boyer is that they let me run as fast as I'm willing to go. And by enabling me to be able to start using Copilot, and as I'm identifying new tools and like, hey, can we pull in this research agent? Can we pull in this analyst agent? Can I start experimenting with Copilot Studio? By Boyer and our IT team, everyone kind of allowing us to scale where needed, it's allowed me to run as fast as I can. And now with the new innovations of Copilot and everything AI, I'm able to build. So I love it.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that a little bit too. I think the thing that's made us the most successful internally is just remembering the adoption and change piece. This is new for everybody. We can't just tell people about it once. Addie, I had forgot about that contest that we did. That was probably like 2 years ago. And it's never stopped. Constant communication all the time from our leadership team, from our director level people. This is what we do with it. This is how we're using it. This is the next thing coming, constantly always being there with AI. It's not going away. So if we stop using it or if we go away from it for some reason, we're going to be behind. So it's just that constant reinforcement that here's the things you can do with it. And it's almost hard with as much change is going on to try to keep everybody in the organization up to date, but at least we're regularly talking about it. And it takes a while for, to get the light switch to flip on for everybody. But once it does, I mean, our adoption numbers look great. Microsoft's got a cool dashboard. I think I kind of touched on it last time, but they've got a cool Copilot dashboard that you can kind of see who's using Copilot, where are they using it? Are they using the work version that's tied to all of the documentation that you have available to you? Are they using the web version? Are they using it inside of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all those things? And we've got fantastic adoption across all those things. And I think it's because we talk about it all the time. We talk about it at every quarterly meeting.
I was going to say later today, we have our quarterly meeting and, it's going to be a big topic. It always is. It has to be. Yeah.
And I think that good point there too is like that AI adoption scoreboard is sitting right there in that admin center, just where you manage all your licenses, all your security and everything. It's right there with it. So that's one of the added benefits of doing everything in Microsoft. It's going to fit seamlessly in just your normal Microsoft admin.
Yeah. Well, and the adoption dashboard is super important also. Like, so when, business leaders, they're like, how can I track ROI? I mean, it's not just turning on AI in your business and then waiting for it to show, dollar signs in the bank account. You actually have to make sure it is working along the way. And that's kind of hard to do because it's an individual that's using it. So that usage dashboard is huge, right? Like if, let's say you wanted to do a pilot and you're starting with 10 licenses and you're just trusting those 10 users to go in and figure it out. We can go in. I'm not saying everybody needs to be micromanaged and this isn't sort of like, that, but it's, you can go in there and see who's logging in and who's using it the most. And that's who you want to, okay, what is that person doing differently? Why are they getting it? Why are they adopting it? How can we bottle that up and replicate it, right? So we get better adoption. And I'll just add a little spoiler alert, like Microsoft, they'll fund these kinds of pilots and initiatives, right? They want to not only get customers using their AI platform, they also want to make sure that they are using it. And so there's so many different programs out there, funding programs available through partners and things like that can help with that adoption. There's training, there's a lot. And that's why we have to do Copilot and Coffee once a month. So we can share this kind of information, but along the way, there's more to be shared and more to learn as we go. So, all right, just doing a quick time check. I'm on Eastern time, so it's 11:38. We have a few other topics we want to hit, sort of the what's coming, what are we most excited about, what's new. We also, some of the feedback that we received in the surveys from last month was people wanted to see information about licenses and promos and discounts and how that works specifically to Microsoft. But I also understand there might be people on the call that don't use Microsoft today, and that might not be relevant. Got some feedback on industry-specific AI solutions and things like that. So, and that they wanted to see demonstrations. Now, at Copilot and Coffee, we don't have a formal agenda. And so we kind of say no demos, but also we can demo at the drop of a hat because Caleb just cranks out those agents all the time. So, one thought we had was we have a couple of topics queued up. We're going to start talking about what, what we're most excited about. But in the meantime, let's find out from the audience what you guys want to see. Do you want to hear about licenses and cost for Copilot and promotions and potential discounts for your organization? Do you want to see agents? Anyways, Katie's going to put that in the chat. You tell us what you want to hear about. We'll check in a minute. Caleb, tell me what you are most excited to see. What's up and coming with AI for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, top of my mind always is just agent building. So I could go down a rabbit hole with that. But as far as like new functionality and features that Microsoft is pushing out, I think we hit on it a little bit last time, but Copilot for Finance, Copilot for Sales are now included with that M365 Copilot license. So these typically are prior to, I'd say about last month, these were add-on licenses. I want to say they're around like $20 to $30 on top of M365 Copilot, but now they're included free of charge. So one I'll quickly talk about is just Copilot for Finance, just because I'm taking a client through training right now. So Copilot for Finance is built to integrate with Business Central, Dynamics Finance and Supply Chain, and SAP. But the one thing I started to point out, and I love calling it out, is that you don't necessarily need to be on one of those systems to start benefiting from it. As long as you're able to export out some of your financial information or reports into a CSV or Excel file, you can still start using some of the Copilot for Finance functionality, like financial data insights, financial reconciliation, and a new feature that comes soon is called variance analysis. So it's not necessarily just for big enterprise systems anymore. You can start bringing your own data and getting insights directly in Excel. So it kind of stacks into that M365 Copilot tool.
Ooh, that is exciting. Matt, what do you got?
I'm going to say agent mode for Office apps. So what this is, if any of you have experience working with like a chat plugin like GitHub Copilot or anything inside of Visual Studio Code, it's going to be a similar experience inside of the Word and Excel applications. So you can kind of have your sidebar open, be chatting with the agent on the right, on your sidebar there, and then have it actually editing the document for you. It's not like highlighting stuff and telling it what to do there, more so of like, hey, I want to pull in data from this file into this paragraph, that kind of stuff. So we can start the document, with that, like we talked about earlier, get you 85% of the way there. And now we can use an agent mode to say, let's pull in this more relevant information and that kind of stuff. So super excited to see that.
That is very exciting. I don't know if you noticed, but I started to glaze over. I feel like there was a little bit of technical jargon over my head, but you know what? Let's assume half the audience understands what that all means. I mean, it sounds great, but I still feel like we're still learning that sort of that language as we talk about agents all the time and these, what they integrate to. But I will say we did get some feedback on that last survey that wanted to know more about the technical side and the integrations of things and where things are included. So, as Katie puts this poll out there, feel free to also, folks, put in the chat what it is. Are we getting too technical for you ever? Or are we not getting technical enough? That's going to be some information we want from you guys next time. Like, what is this? Where do we go here? And now I'm looking at the poll. I'm seeing we got 1 vote for licenses, 3 votes for demo, Caleb. So I hope you're ready to pull something up. You might want to get something ready on the fly.
I can demo on the spot.
This is how we make sure Caleb's really working on agents and not just sending us AI slop and things like that. We need to see the build at the end here. And then I see both. So, okay, well, you're pulling that up. I'm going to submit. I'm putting both because we're going to do both. We have enough time. I put my poll vote in to tip the scale. What I'll do is I'll quickly talk about some of the license promotions that we have, and then I'll let you get into your demo. And it's not license promotions, excuse me, that we have. We do have our own. But from a Microsoft side, and obviously we're not going to be talking about Claude's promos. I don't know what they are. They have, custom pricing or ChatGemini or whatever they are. They have different pricing as well. But what we can tell you all about anytime is Microsoft discounts, promotions for the licenses. as I mentioned earlier, licenses, $30 a month per user for Copilot is for what you get out of it. Sometimes I think, oh, why can't we just give them away for free? But the value you're actually getting, it's like, gosh, they could actually charge more. I'm not saying I would suggest that to Microsoft, of course, because we don't want that. We want it given away. But these promotions are out there, right? And not everybody knows about them. So we have a few industries on the call today. I think, we've got nonprofits, we've got education, we've got commercial enterprise. There's 15% off. So if you are using the Microsoft stack today and you're not getting this discount, you can either talk to us or talk to your partner, right? There's, if you're working with another partner, or if you're not sure, we can help you. This is very high level current Copilot license promotions. But there's more, and we can share that with you. This is a big one. This is like hot off the press sort of thing in October. Microsoft has integrated their Copilot solutions at no extra cost. The Dynamics 365 ones, they're not charging you for that. Sales and Copilot for service and finance, and that was an extra 20, but that's huge. So if you are using Dynamics 365 solutions today and you're sort of like on the fence about Copilot, you're now getting a lot more bang for your buck if you are investing in Copilot with Microsoft, because if you already have Dynamics, now you get both sides. And I love the Copilot for sales. That's the only one I use. I don't use the Copilot for service one. I don't really use Copilot for finance, but that Copilot for sales one is such a game changer. It was their first, so I think that's why they, it's just built out so well. I get so much out of it. And being able to integrate that too, between that and M365 Copilot for work, and to be able to just say, hey, what are we doing with this customer, and get a full summary based on interactions, internal, whatever we have Matt, how we've integrated it. What it's connected to. I don't need to know that. All I know is it gives me the information that I need. So yeah. I'm not complaining about it. I think it's fantastic. But these promotions are huge. 50% does make a difference. And Copilot Studio, right? We don't go too deep on these calls into Copilot Studio. So at a high level, Caleb, actually, I'm putting you on the spot as you're trying to pull up your demo. Matt,
I'm good.
I was going to say, tell us what Copilot Studio is. Somebody tell us more about what that is.
Copilot Studio is going to be that low-code platform where you can start building agents out. And the beautiful thing about M365 Copilot is that you get 25,000 messages to start building agents immediately. I feel like that's a piece that a lot of customers miss out on when starting to use Copilot. And two, a lot of the actions within Copilot Studio are actually free of charge. They don't even use your messages if you have that M365 Copilot license. So it's going to be your spot to go and build out some low code agents that can connect to your business applications. So you can get started immediately. If you don't know where to get started, we can definitely help you.
Certainly can. And also, Boyer does have its own promos, because we don't want this call to be really a sales pitch for us. This is us just getting together and talking about AI, but we have our own promotions as well. So I'm just going to say it because I'm in marketing and it's my job. But, if you are unsure about your licenses, don't know what you have, if you don't have a partner or a CSP today, you can move your licenses to Boyer. And with that, you might get a free Boyer Central agent, or depending on your use case. We incentivize our customers to trust us with their licenses by giving away agents. Caleb, I don't know what agent you're about to pull up right now, but I think you're about to pull one up, and maybe this is of value to somebody else. So, we can talk, if you're interested, we can talk more about the M365 moving those licenses to Boyer promo. Like I said, not going to pitch it beyond that, but if you're curious, just reach out to me and I'll share more.
I'm ready to go whenever you are, Addie.
Oh, do I need to give you the screen?
Oh, no,
Can you steal
no, I can grab it.
All right, we're getting into that demo.
So first thing that we're going to demo is one of our agents that is currently still in development. So that's one thing I want to call out. This is just building out kind of the MVP for it. So here's our agent that is focused around nonprofits. So it's called Heartline. What it's powered by is our focus fundraising solution that sits on top of Dynamics 365 CRM. But we designed it specifically for nonprofits. A lot of nonprofits typically manage a ton of donor data sets, so like giving history, contact information, campaign management. And they're usually doing it with very limited time and staff, and AI is really able to help change that. So our goal with Heartline is to give these organizations like a 360-degree view, not of just their data points, but real insights they can actually act on. So we'll go through a couple of different things within this agent, but we just have 2 features built out, but we're going to add more to it. So if you guys have any ideas, feel free to drop them in the chat or reach out. But the first thing that we'll go ahead and do, you can kind of see we're presented with this welcome message. I can go ahead and say view donor metrics. It'll go ahead and fire off a request. And kind of while this is loading, right now we're working out of M365 Copilot. We're able to embed these agents almost anywhere. We can have them within Copilot, within Teams, within Dynamics. You want to use Slack, we can put it in Slack. You use Salesforce, we can put it in Salesforce. We can put these agents almost anywhere. So I'm using it in Copilot today, but just want to call that out. But then here, what it will do is actually go and pick our donors out of our CRM system. So we have a couple here, Zay Flowers, My Raven, Joanna, and Marge Simpson. So in today's scenario, we'll just select Joanna, go ahead and press submit. So it's nice because even if you have a very extensive list of donors in your system, we're able to get you that drop-down view. So you don't necessarily need to know these donors' names off the top of your head. You're able to kind of search through your donor list in a very simple UI without all the extra bells and whistles on it. But then we get a quick little adaptive card that goes and pops open our donor profile for Joanna. Right now, we just have the giving metrics or giving history for her, but this is where we're going to eventually add like contact information, which household, which address she's sitting at, basically to give you that 360-degree view of a donor. But you can see here, year 0, which is current year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and also the lifetime giving. So you're able to kind of take a look into past 5 years or so with Joanna and see kind of what her donor or donation history is. I can then click this view donor commitments button and it'll go and pop open our current donor commitments for this current year. So we'll go ahead and give it a few seconds to load.
It's my first time seeing this, Caleb, and I'm loving it. This is very cool.
Awesome. We've had a ton of requests from our nonprofit customers, and it sounds like we have a couple of nonprofits here today. So that's where we're really trying to get some AI tools where they can start using not only focused fundraising, but also Heartline. So here you can see some of our donor commitment details. You can see that Joanna currently has 2, so one for $100. This one's currently paid off, so you can kind of see that balance is $0. And then she has another one for $500. She's paid $400 of it so far, so there's still $100 left over. So we know like that's kind of where that donor commitment currently sits.
So somebody could use this. Let's say I'm at a gala and I see, and I'm trying to raise some money and I can see that organization over there across the room in a gown, and I have my phone and I could go on Teams and I could literally message Heartline and ask the, over here, how much did, the animal shelter in my neighborhood, whatever, donate last year, as assuming they're part of that. And, that's so interesting.
But yeah, like you said, like you can be on Teams on your phone, firing off requests. You don't have to navigate through all of CRM. You get a very simplified UI to go and get this information, and then you're back on your feet, ready to go talk to Joanna. So ultimately, we're trying to prep not only our nonprofits, but also like our sales teams too. It's like if you need a 360-degree view of your donors, your customers, we can get you that in a few seconds.
It's amazing. Yeah. And that sits on focus fundraising, which Matt, I know is close to your heart because both of you, we both spent a lot of time building that. Focus fundraising is, our donor management solution that sits on Dynamics 365 for nonprofits. Do you have any other things you want to demo? What?
Yeah, I have one other thing. So the other piece to it is that we also, beyond just like retrieval and AI, we can get some like AI insights, like who should we target as our donors? Like we have this huge database of donor history. How can we get some like proactive kind of suggestions of what we should do next? So that's where we have this who should we target button here. So we can go ahead and fire this off. The nice thing about Copilot is that you can schedule out a lot of these prompts. So if you want this to run on like Monday morning, end of day Friday, you can have it run. So the second you get onto your computer, you get onto your phone, you're ready to go for the work week. So you can see here, after we press this button, our Copilot agent will go ahead and search through our database and go say like, okay, which of our donors have a very high lifetime giving? or typically donate a certain amount year over year, but haven't given to us this year. So here we have Zay Flowers and Marge Simpson. Zay has a lifetime giving of 41,000. Marge has a lifetime giving of 13,500. However, neither of them have yet to donate this year. So maybe that's where we want to start having conversations. And I really like to point this out just because we can then integrate it with Outlook. We can integrate it with Teams. So you can start firing off some of these messages directly from the agent. That's just like a little glimpse into kind of the possibilities of what we have.
All I see is Zay Flowers, and I think about what he did to my fantasy football team. Yeah, so you know,
my
a
season's
fantasy
not doing
reference
too well
is coming.
brutal,
Yeah.
brutal. I don't know football. I need a fantasy football agent clearly because I am losing really bad this year.
I keep that one close knit to me.
Yeah,
I
I
have
know
to
you do.
get my trophy.
I know you do. Well, this is awesome. I love it. I always love seeing the agents that you work on, Caleb. We have, I don't know what our library looks like right now, but we have so many. I don't know if you were planning to pull up another one. One thing I did want to call out is we're headed off to UG Summit next week, Caleb. Are you excited for that? I'm excited for that.
I'm very excited. What I like about what we have at Boyer is we have a large, like Laddie said, we have a huge library of agents, and with where a lot of customers are currently sitting, they don't necessarily know what's possible with Copilot and agents. So what we have is we have an opportunity to demo on the spot. So we have
Demo in the
agents for,
wild.
demo in the wild. We have agents for Business Central, CRM, ServiceNow, Salesforce, nonprofit. So any particular area you might be in, we're able to demo on the spot, show you something tangible, and then get your brains kind of spinning of like what's possible. We really want to have customers envisioning like what the future could look like.
You know, Matt had to sit out for this UG Summit. He and I went there a couple of years ago when it was in, was it North Carolina, Matt?
Yep.
These events are always so great. Like we have a couple events coming up, and this one's going to be a good one. Caleb and I are going to be there. So if anybody on this Copilot and Coffee wants to have Copilot and Coffee in person with us, we will be there. Keep an eye out. You can't miss us because we will be dressed like lumberjacks because we have the axe throwing booth. I think I brought this up last month, but yep, we're going to be headed out to do that in just a couple of days now. I leave Saturday. It's in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, we're going to be doing demos in the wild. So link in with us too, so you can see those. I'm really, you know, Caleb, I feel like a momager. I feel like Kris Kardashian with Caleb as my I'm in a social media. And I'm like, it's crazy. I'm not very good at that, but that's what AI is for. And it's going to help me write all my LinkedIn posts. Just kidding. Caleb's better at that than I am. Anything else you want to close with, Matt? What do you got? What are you excited about next week? Us being away and not bothering you with questions?
I think it's cool. And then, you know, a while back, I had an idea about, hey, how could we use AI to capture ideas from people and to get new ideas from people that don't even know maybe what an agent or what generative AI might be able to do for them. So we're gonna, I think, unveil the Spark agent there, that can capture some ideas and get us starting down some good conversations with some potential clients or existing clients. So that should be cool. So the idea there,
I see a good
answer some questions
in here.
and
sorry.
get some ideas on, hey, this is how AI might fit into your business today that you might not be thinking about. So
this is actually my favorite agent, for the record. Just so everybody, you heard it here first. Out of most of the agents I've seen, and no offense to Caleb, Caleb builds the agents that are in a lot of solutions that I don't use every day. Whereas Matt built Spark, and this one just blew my mind because
Caleb built Spark too.
Well, okay, you both built Spark. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But what I was going to say is this one blew my mind because it took a very high level concept in my brain and turned it into an agent. Not actually the agent, but like it explained to me exactly what it could do. I said I needed something for the upcoming event. And it was like, well, we could do this. Does this sound good? I'm like, yes, that sounds great. Okay, great. Then we're going to need to do this. It'll take this much time and we'll be able to do this. And then you'll have this. Does that sound good? I'm like, yes. And, you know, I was pretty much waiting for it to just show up next at the next prompt. But anyways, yeah, it really just was super helpful to see it all mapped out because my brain is not organized as Spark is. But I do see one question in there. How much time and money does it take to build an average CRM agent? I'm just going to say it's specific to CRM. That ranges for sure. I guess what would the cost depend on, Caleb and Matt?
Depends on a lot of data, so like how much data we're pulling in. What's the process? Are we doing something simple as retrieval, or is we're going fully autonomous where it's being more predictive? So it's really going to depend on the use case. But the one thing I like to call out is, especially with agents, some of the ideas you guys might have might not be as expensive as you guys think. So that's where we really need to sit down and have a conversation. And we might be able to shock you with like what we can get into your hands and how fast we can get into your hands.
Yeah. And I would say just kind of something to think about from like our past deals with our current customers and that kind of a thing. Range wise for cost, we're probably like 10,000 all the way up to a couple 100,000. Again, based on those things that Caleb is saying of what do you want it to do? You want it to do 10 things or one thing? You want it to surface information to you, or do you want to be able to interact with it and push stuff back into your database? All those things are going to be kind of telling you whether it's the $10,000 one versus the 200K. So,
well, here's the best part though. This is what I want to say is that the importance of having a partner and speaking with a partner and having that use case, bring that use case to your partner. If it's us, great. If it's not, bummer. But bring that use case because you don't know. It might already be that functionality might already be built in to a solution that you have. Like that's the other thing that people forget. I mean, technology is advancing quite a bit. There's no way people, especially the end users, can stay up with, you know, what's in there. And that's our job. Our job is to know what may already be built into the Microsoft solutions that you're using today. Or for all you know, it's a release wave. Something's coming out, that functionality. So it comes down to what problem are you trying to solve, and let the experts sort of determine what the right technology is to solve for that. Because again, may already exist for you. You don't know. There could be an agent that you just don't even know about, or Power Automate, or whatever. Doesn't matter. It could be. It might.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to touch on there. You talked about Copilot for sales. That out of the box, you buy the out of the box, just the base Copilot license that's included there. It doesn't just work with Dynamics either. It works with Salesforce too. So depending on what the needs are, that might be satisfied just by getting that monthly license. So.
Yep. Cool. Well, we are over time. Look at us go. No surprise there. But thank you everybody again for coming to Copilot and Coffee. We love it. This is fun. We will see you again in a month. If you are going to be at Summit, reach out. Let me know. Let Caleb know. We're going to be there, and we want to see you in person. If not, and you had questions around license promos, or if you're like, guys, that article was terrible. Why would you, if you have, we like the negative feedback too. It fuels us, right? So, share it all. We will send a survey out to everybody just to get feedback and input on what you'd like to see next. Date for the next one is TBD, because I think we kind of forgot we had to think about that last time. We weren't even sure if anyone was going to show up, and yet here you all are. So we'll see you in a month on or around this date.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.